Queen summoned everyone to a private meeting at her royal country house, and everyone attended except Meghan Markle. I don't blame Meghan for not going, because nothing good happens when white people invite you to the countryside. All right? We've all seen it. We've all seen Get Out. We know how this shit ends. Wait, hold up. Their third date was to Botswana? I mean, normally on a third date, you might go to Red Lobster, but for a royal, you go to an entire African country? Wow. When he me good, I take his ass to Botswana.
This is so amazing. So many of you here to see me, huh? I feel like Meghan Markle. This is dope.
Trevor Noah didn't just roast Meghan Markle, he performed a full-blown cultural autopsy on her entire brand. And he did it with the smirk that said, "I'm just getting started." What began as a few playful jabs quickly exploded into a comedy firestorm. This wasn't your average late-night monologue. It was the moment the entertainment world collectively decided Meghan and Harry aren't icons, they're punchlines.
Don't forget, he's a prince, okay? So to him, she's not the Queen of England in her palace. She's just granny in her house with the grandma smell, all right?
It's important we do this ourselves, Harry, and not live off your family.
I agree. We'll just have to find a way to make £50 billion on our own.
Fuck. The royal fairy tale was no longer about glass slippers and golden crowns. It had been rewritten as a chaotic Netflix pitch, starring two former royals trying to cash in on their titles while pretending to run from them. They were mocked, mimicked, and memed into oblivion. What made it sting was the realization that it wasn't personal, it was performance. Their every move had become parody. The media wasn't hunting them down. The culture was dragging them willingly onto the comedy stage. And now, Meghan and Harry weren't running the show. They were the show.
I mean, we do have paparazzi, it's just they don't have cameras. Yeah. It's just a guy running up to you like, I saw you, I saw you, I saw you, I saw you again, I saw you, I saw you. Harry, look at what you are wearing. I'm going to tell everybody, yeah?
Meghan Markle to join the 11th season of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Ugh, so thirsty for any kind of attention. I would die before I would be on her reality show.
Trevor Noah didn't hold back. He walked right into the lion's den of royal drama and set it on fire. During his set, he called out Meghan for skipping a royal family gathering at the Queen's countryside estate. His explanation? Nothing good happens when white people invite you to the countryside. The crowd erupted. And if that wasn't sharp enough, he twisted the knife by mocking Meghan's influence over Harry. In his impersonation, Meghan turns to Harry and says, "You a grown man. You need a job." One sentence, and the illusion shattered. The fantasy of two ex-royals forging their own path was suddenly exposed as a delusion of grandeur.
This is so amazing. So many of you here to see me, huh? I feel like Meghan Markle. This is dope.
What is it that you do exactly, Harry? What is it that you do exactly, Grandma? Touché.
Trevor framed them not as brave exiles, but as brand influencers in exile, hopping from royal duties to reality light drama. He laughed at their call for financial independence, saying it looked a lot like monetized victimhood. Netflix deals, Spotify flops, and Montecito mansions. That's independence now? Trevor asked. The audience didn't just laugh. They nodded, because suddenly it all made sense. Harry wasn't forging his identity, he was getting a crash course in Hollywood husbandry. And Meghan, she wasn't just escaping the monarchy, she was building a monarchy of her own, one press release at a time.
Being a member of the royal family has always been one of the sweetest gigs you can have. You get an unlimited budget for hats, there's always free crumpets in the break room, and let's be honest, most of your job is just waving. Why? Why would Harry and Meghan want out of a life that so many people dream of having? Honey, think about it. We kiss frogs to try and become royalty. Huh? The only thing I've ever gotten is father herpes. But for Harry and Meghan in particular, the reality of being a royal couple has been far from a fairy tale.
Once Trevor cracked the first punch, it was open season. Conan O'Brien swooped in with his classic dry wit and a joke so awkward, it became instantly iconic. He offered to safeguard Meghan and Harry's wax figures while the drama settled, but then came the twist. I'm definitely not using them for anything weird. The crowd laughed, but nervously. That was the point. Meghan and Harry weren't just being mocked, they were being reduced to caricatures, stiff, frozen replicas of what they once stood for. The symbolism was brutal. They were no longer seen as people, but props in a fading royal saga.
My brother's fiancée, Miss Meghan Markle, is on the American program Suits.
Yes, Wednesdays, 8 p.m, USA Network. Check it out. She's amazing, isn't it? Yeah?
Right. The only difference between that show and this is people watch this one.
Oh, hilarious.
The British royal family. They're like the Kardashians with an occasional.
Then Chris Rock unleashed a verbal nuclear strike. Meghan's Oprah interview, the moment she dropped the racism bombshell, was met with Rock's legendary delivery. She didn't know how racist the royal family was. They're the royal family. They're the original racists. The theater cracked with laughter, and something shifted. This wasn't just comedy anymore. This was commentary. And to make it worse, animation entered the chat. South Park dragged them with an episode so savage it felt personal. They were drawn as cartoon versions of themselves, screaming, "We want privacy," while flying around in jets and staging book tours. The roast had become multi-platform. TVs, stand-up, cartoons, memes. The world wasn't just laughing. It was organizing a comedy coup.
Her mom is black, his family's super white, she's an actress, he's on welfare. Like, it's so romantic.
Like, what's this girl, Meghan Markle? Just complaining. I was like, didn't she hit the light-skin lottery? Acting all dumb like she don't know nothing. I had no idea how racist they were. It's the royal family. They're the original racists.
If Hollywood had jokes, TikTok had reenactments. Creators flooded the app with skits, lip syncs, and full-on performances mocking Meghan's accent, expressions, and painfully curated lifestyle. The "Why Me" face became a viral template. Users created fake interviews in fake houses mocking Meghan's set tours by saying things like, "This isn't my house, it's my production studio, but welcome anyway." One TikToker screamed, "Call me Meghan Sussex one more time, Mindy fucking Kaling," and the comments section exploded. She wasn't just being mocked, she was being played over and over.
Harry and Meghan are leaving the palace to become financially independent. And you see, this is what happens when you bring the first black woman into the royal family. Yeah. She looked at Harry and she was like, "Nigga, you need to get a job. You need a job. You a grown-ass man. You can't still be living in your mama's house, Harry."
Meet Trevor's Uncle Bobby. I didn't even know I had an Uncle Bobby. Well, now you do, and he shits his pants.
Harry, meanwhile, was reimagined as the soft-spoken intern of Meghan's brand, the guy carrying her handbag while she preached about empowerment. The public wasn't watching the Sussexes with fascination anymore. They were watching them with popcorn. Their narrative had slipped out of their hands and now lived in the meme economy, where sincerity is cringe and satire is king. They didn't just lose control of the story, they became the punchline everyone could edit, duet, and parody for life.
Their third date was to Botswana? I mean, normally on a third date, you might go to Red Lobster, but for a royal, you go to an entire African country? Wow. And if me good, I take it to Botswana. And if me good, I take my to Botswana. Harry and Meghan are leaving the palace to become financially independent. And you see, this is what happens when you bring the first black woman into the royal family. Yeah. She looked at Harry and she was like, "Nigga, you need to get a job. You need a job. You a grown-ass man. You can't still be living in your mama's house, Harry."
Saturday Night Live, the unofficial court of cultural relevance, finally chimed in, and it was brutal. They didn't just roast Meghan and Harry, they obliterated them. One sketch showed Harry sneaking into a coronation after party like an uninvited ex, while Meghan handed out business cards reading "Professional Victim." In another skit, Meghan delivered a fake TED Talk titled "The Power of Me," while Harry quietly took notes in the background like a dutiful intern. The satire hit hard, and yet it didn't feel exaggerated. It felt eerily familiar.
A British DJ has been fired for a controversial tweet about the royal baby. The BBC's Danny Baker posted a photo showing a couple holding hands with a chimpanzee, and the caption read, "Royal baby leaves."
The Queen summoned everyone to a private meeting at her royal country house, and everyone attended except Meghan Markle, who conference called in. And I'll be honest, I won't blame Meghan for not going, because nothing good happens when white people invite you to the countryside. We all know. We've all seen it. We've all seen Get Out. We know how this shit ends.
The sketches weren't just funny, they were accurate. Too accurate. Meghan was cast as a PR machine running on victim fuel, while Harry was portrayed as the guy still figuring out how email worked. The applause wasn't just for the punchlines, it was for the catharsis. The audience wasn't angry at the Sussexes, they were over it. And nothing says, "We're done," like laughter that doesn't need explanation. When satire lands that effortlessly, it's because the audience already believes the joke before it's even told.
Damn, Harry and Meghan are losing their titles? That's the most embarrassing royal loss since William's hairline. But yes, the Queen has announced that Harry and Meghan can no longer describe themselves as royal. And I won't lie, if I was Harry and Meghan, I'll be like, fine, then we'll be known as Royale. When Kate was pregnant, the Daily Mail said, "Pregnant Kate tenderly cradles her baby bump." But when Meghan did the exact same thing, the headline was, "Why can't Meghan Markle keep her hands off her bump? Is it pride, vanity, acting?"
Then Joe Rogan entered the arena, shirtless in spirit, armed with a mic and zero diplomacy. He told the story of waking up one morning, turning on the TV, and seeing Prince Harry slamming him over vaccine misinformation. "I'm in my underwear," he said, "and there's a fucking prince calling me dangerous?" The crowd howled. It was absurd, it was surreal, but most of all, it was hilarious. And Rogan knew exactly what he was doing, turning royalty into a punchline before breakfast.
This morning, new headlines that Harry and Meghan could be moving to Africa. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex are reportedly considering heading on a sabbatical for 6 months.
They're taking a sabbatical? How are you gonna take a break from bringing royalty? What are you doing? This is like the weirdest thing. Oh, just have to take a break. Too many people surfing us. That's too much. We're really overjoyed to welcome this pure little miracle, the result of our sweaty night of just raw #blessed.
But Rogan wasn't done. He mocked Harry for pitching Meghan to Disney like she was auditioning for Frozen 3. You're a prince, man, and now you're hustling voiceover work like a stage mom at a preschool talent show? The line hit like a gut punch, not because it was cruel, but because it was true. Rogan didn't just clown Harry, he exposed the quiet tragedy of a man who once flew helicopters in war zones, now reduced to smiling awkwardly while Meghan tries to sell a podcast. Harry wasn't the villain, he was the guy who lost the plot. And in comedy, that's worse.
Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, is reportedly working on a deal to record a voiceover for Disney. Meghan and Prince Harry met with Disney's CEO at the London premiere of The Lion King in July, where Harry appeared to discuss possible future projects.
Oh, it's huge, Trevor. We haven't been this excited since Piers Morgan left for America.
By now, Meghan's Netflix doc had been dissected more times than a true crime murder mystery. The polished interview, the dramatic pauses, the slow-motion tea sipping. British comedian Simon Brockins summed it up. "Before I watched it, I disliked them. After watching it, I hate them." That line wasn't just a joke, it was a review. The documentary meant to earn sympathy, instead fueled even more ridicule. Xiaoying Summers nailed it on stage. We're the same, attention-seeking bees. The crowd roared. Meghan had spent millions trying to control the narrative, only for stand-up comedians to hijack it for free. She wasn't seen as brave. She was seen as obsessed. Every press drop, every brand deal, every whisper about privacy came wrapped in contradiction. She didn't want to be left alone. She wanted to be watched on her terms. But the internet doesn't play by those rules, and neither do comedians. And then Trevor Noah came back just to make sure the roast ended with a crater. Archie's gonna grow up like, wait, we used to be in the royal family, and now I'm working at Burger King? It was savage, hilarious, and depressingly plausible. Meghan and Harry didn't just walk away from royalty. They sprinted toward a spotlight they can't seem to manage. They traded crowns for contract and dignity for downloads. And now the only thing more predictable than their next podcast is the roast that will follow. Their narrative is no longer theirs. It belongs to stand-up comics, sketch writers, and TikTok parodists. And as long as Meghan keeps opening her mouth, they'll keep sharpening their punchlines. Because once you're no longer feared or respected, you're just funny. And once you're funny, you can't go back.